All right, so good morning. Welcome back to JPCE Spiritual Talk. It's Jerry Campbell. So this morning, I'm going to go over two articles that I did not have time to go over last night. And we're going to discuss those, look at the maps that are on those two articles, a few videos, just have kind of a discussion about what's going on. I really wanted to cover those two since last night I didn't have time. So without further ado, let's look at these two articles. We'll get out of here for this morning. Thank you all again for following. It means a lot. Okay. It is my pleasure to serve you all. No matter how you're here or how you're following, thank you for following. If you're here for these current event updates, thank you so much. If you're here for the Bible studies and the readings, thank you again. It means a lot. The true definition of minister is to serve someone else's will. That's what the true definition of minister is. All right, so here's the two articles. I'll move myself out of the way here. So the first one we're going to look at right here. I showed this one last night. Just like I said, didn't have time to go over it. So we're going to hit it first this morning and then hit the next one and get out of here. So it says ahead of generalized conflict in Africa, rapid reaction force on high alert. France and ECOWAS, 7-day telegraph in Niger, Algeria and Wagner on the verge of war. Thousands besieged the French embassy in Niger. Africa is facing a major military flare-up as France and ECOWAS states have given what they say a Russian-backed coup a week to restore Niger's president, Bazoum, to power and restore constitutional order class. Otherwise, there will be military intervention. For this reason, the ECOWAS Standby Force, ESF, which contains the military rapid reaction force used by economic community of West African states, has been put on combat alert. The region is facing uncontrolled escalation and likely expanded military conflict. Niger's coup plotters recently arrested the head of the ruling party and several ministers, despite Macron's warning. At the same time, they organized a massive nationwide protest calling on ECOWAS to stop while besieging the French embassy, shouting, "To hell with France and welcome to Russia." The ECOWAS Standby Force, ESF, which contains the military rapid reaction force used by economic community of West Africa states, has reportedly been placed into a combat alert status. Here's a video.
In the event the authorities' demands are not met within 1 week, take all measures necessary to restore constitutional order in the Republic of...
I'm gonna start it over.
In the event the authorities' demands are not met within 1 week, take all measures necessary to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger. Such measures may include the use of force. To this effect, the chiefs of defense staff of ECOWAS are to meet immediately. In the event the authorities' demands are not met within...
So Russia media, France, Algeria, and other states in Africa are at war. Right? In Africa, the situation worsens due to the military rebellion in Niger. ECOWAS member states, economic community of West Africa states, Benin, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, and all those areas threaten the new regime with financial and other sanctions. The community has given Niger's new authorities a week to reverse the situation or face very serious measures, including military intervention. All right, let's take a look at this. So right now, in hashtag Niger's capital, Niamey, thousands of people with hashtag Russian flags rejoice after the explosion of hashtag French structures. Right, so let's take a look at this. Here we go. What other media reports about the intervention? Niger's new authorities accused his former mother country, France, of wanting military intervention to restore ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. Looking for ways and means of military intervention, Paris, with the help of some representatives of Niger, held a meeting to discuss intervention. It is noted that Niger was represented at the meeting by the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Hassim Moussa, the commander of the National Guard forces, Mindu Jerry. They signed a document that allows France to attack the presidential palace, Russian media reported. So it's what Russian media reported, right? So at the same time, Algeria, which is a friendly country to Niger and has a valid military cooperation agreement with it, intends to defend its southern neighbor in the event of an external military attack. Voice of the Arabs reports. The Algerian version of the intel, Kirby, also writes about a possible invasion of Niger. According to the same source, the invasion may be led by ECOWAS. It is worth noting that the participation of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger in ECOWAS has been frozen due to overthrow of the pro-French political governments by a local army. Explain the voice of Arabs. Meanwhile, Intel Kirby recalled Algeria's position. Algeria will not stand idly by as long as there is an invasion in a neighboring country, the publication improvises. So here's a map, right? So Algeria has promised to defend #Niger, Russia's back coup plotters, from a NATO ECOWAS invasion. So here, the blue is what's controlled by France, right? And some of the green, and then the other, right? So let's zoom in on this map. So, you know, things change in the world, don't they? Different people during different times rise up to power, right? You know, the time of the USA, I think, is coming to an end, right? That we see world power changing hands, right? But by studying history, it always happens, right? Nobody stays a superpower forever. At some point, others take that place, they take that role. It looks like Russia, countries like Russia, China, right? And some of the other ones are banding together to fill a new role, which is why things are changing. We live in a different world. We live in a scarier world. So it says, Niger bans uranium and gold exports to France, right? That's not good. All right. So let's look at this. So breaking news, as ECOWAS under the leadership of the president, Tinubu of Nigeria, comes under pressure from imperialist elements to intervene military in Niger. Nigerians have staged a massive nationwide protest asking ECOWAS to keep off and attack the French embassy in that country.
Security forces moved in after the demonstrators attempted to storm the complex and start fires. Paris and the European Union some days ago cut off all financial aid to the country, while other Western African nations have imposed sanctions on Niger following the overthrow.
An okay source, right? I sometimes like to use them as well. We have some good videos.
People have been steadily gathering in the country's capital, Niamey, to express support for the nation's new leadership. Some held signs denouncing France, while others waved Russian flags, seemingly to express thanks at Moscow's security efforts against insurgents in the region. We heard reaction to events on the streets.
We came out today to tell the international community that we stand with our army. They must understand this. We will take this to the very end. If they want to help us, we are here, and we will welcome them as friends. But if they want to fight us, we will treat them as enemies.
I would like also to say to European Union, African Union, and ECOWAS, please stay out of our business.
People are suffering in this country. We should not have to live like this. People are coming out to support the military takeover because they are here to bring balance to the country.
This is a historic day in Niger following the coup. We are on this morning of July 30th, 2023, at a place of consultations where there are many men, women, and young people who have come out en masse to this historic location in the capital, Niamey. They are here to support the soldiers gathered at the National Security Council to say no to France and yes to Russia, as well as no to foreign military rule and no to ECOWAS. Those are the messages of the people who have come out here on this day.
So violent protests against the French diplomatic mission sanctioned by ECOWAS. Let's see what we got. Oh. Pause this real quick. You know, Russia is feeding these people in Africa, right? I mean, they're feeding these people in Africa. You can see why that their support for Russia is so strong, right? You know, don't mess with the hand that feeds you, right?
10 ans, pendant 10 ans de régime, le quotidien des Nigériens n'a pas changé. Par conséquent, les Nigériens ont appelé à sortir massivement et de bouter dehors cette politique. Nous sommes également sortis pour dire à ce petit Macron de la France que le Niger nous appartient. C'est à nous de faire ce que nous voulons du Niger, ce que nous voulons, nous traitons avec qui nous voulons et comme nous voulons.
West African states have given the coup leaders in Niger a one-week ultimatum to give up power. The president of neighbouring Chad has travelled to Niger in a bid to resolve the crisis. ECOWAS, a bloc of 15 African states, is threatening to use force if Niger's ousted elected president is not reinstated. But public sympathy appears to favour the coup leaders.
Days after Niger's army ousted its democratically elected leader, thousands took to the streets of the capital, Niamey. Many of them supporters of the coup gathered outside the French embassy, a former colonial power.
People are suffering. Nigerians shouldn't be living like this.
All right, so
People are coming out.
We've seen some of that already. So let's kind of flip through here. We've seen. Let's see what this one will play. All right, so here's another map. Take a look at this map before I get to the next article. It says half of the ECOWAS territory ruled by coup leaders. ECOWAS issues an ultimatum to leaders of hashtag Niger coup to restore the elected president in 1 week or face the consequences, including a possible use of force by ECOWAS. So the green is the active ECOWAS members. So here's the green. So let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right? Suspended from ECOWAS is the red. 1, 2, 3. Right? That's what we're looking at. It's a good map. All right. So things are about to explode in Africa, as we can see. I wanted to really cover that and show that. Right? It is a huge deal. World War III is fixing to explode. Right? I said a while back that I was thinking by fall this would get worse. Well, we're approaching fall and things are definitely heating up. So, all right, the last article before I get out here this morning. All right, this one says smells gunpowder. Right? I went over this one a little bit last night, but we didn't spend too much time on it. So it says Polish Prime Minister, we expect an attack. Wagner moved forces to Suwalki Corridor. We sent snipers. I thought about the Polish, right? Poland, Lithuania, Latvia closed the borders to Belarus and Kaliningrad. So here, a matter of time is the war episode between the Polish army and Wagner forces. The Prime Minister of Poland announced the deployment of Wagnerites in the crucial Suwalki Corridor. Wagner private military men find the city of Grodno near the Polish-Lithuanian border, the Suwalki Corridor leading to Kaliningrad. Wagner soldiers may attempt to invade NATO territory. According to Polish Marshal Kimzicki, the musicians will carry out military operation on Polish soil in order to test NATO. Kimzicki is one of the 4 deputy marshals in the upper house of the Polish legislature. All right, soldiers of Wagner may attempt to invade NATO territory. Did we watch this? Did I hit this last night or not? I don't remember.
Я не могу исключить, и никто в Польше этого не исключает, чтобы скажем так, тестировать НАТО и тестировать солидарность НАТО с Польшей, НАТО с Востоком вообще Европы, они могут попытаться зайти в Польшу. Скорее всего, это будет вроде бы террористическая операция группы Вагнера, чем вторжение, полномасштабное вторжение, как в случае Украины. На это, конечно, Россия не пойдет, потому что это было бы, конечно, уже явной войной с НАТО, и они на это не пойдут. А любые провокации, которые будет совершать группа Вагнера, возможны. Я не могу.
All right, so Prime Minister of Poland, Wagner transported forces to the area of the Suwalki Corridor. Satellite reconnaissance and surveillance shows expansion, the presence of Wagner, paramilitary forces in Belarus. This caused concern in the camp of the neighboring countries, Poland and the Baltic countries. The territory of Poland has been subject to continuous hybrid aggression by Russia and Belarus for almost 2 years now, said the Polish Prime Minister. According to the head of the Polish government, 1,600 attacks on the Polish border and attempted illegal crossings were recorded in 2023 alone. But now the situation has become even more complicated. In his opinion, Moscow are to blame for this. As stated by the Prime Minister of Poland, a detachment of Wagnerites numbering about 100 soldiers have moved to an area, the Suwalki Corridor, at the junction of the borders Lithuania, Poland, and Belarus. This is definitely a step forward to further hybrid attacks on Polish soil. Right? So let's see, there's a tweet from Sprider Team. Wagner are entering Poland as migrants claims their news. A new wave of panic gripped Poland. So can we zoom in on this map? All right, let's see what we got here. Kaliningrad, 10,000 troops, 90 tanks, Iskander nuclear missiles, S-400 anti-air launchers. NATO, 40,000 troops in the region, 100,000 U.S. troops deployed to Europe. Wow. Belarus, 45,000 troops, 400,000 reservists, 500 tanks, 50 fighters, 600 artillery guns. Wagner private military, 5,000 Wagner fighters based in I think it's probably more than that. We see the region here. We've seen Estonia, their numbers, Latvia, Lithuania. All right. A pretty cool map. All right. So I wanted to look at this map real quick and then close out these two maps and then close out this morning. So I know a while back, I'm gonna try to zoom in and get a good one here. I know a while back, right, when it all was coming out to be reported what Wagner was doing, my first initial thought was that they were gonna staging to go into Ukraine from this area and hit Kiev, because they're not that far from Kiev. But it makes sense now why they may go into Poland, considering what Poland wants to divide up Western Ukraine, right? So I got to thinking and looking at these maps, right, and all the videos we watched. And my one question is that if Russia wanted to initially take Kiev, then how come they didn't? Does that make sense? Why not just blitzkrieg their way in? The Russians have set up, like we see some of the videos, they set up all those anti-tank ditches and all those mines. And if you look how it looks like they're protecting Eastern Ukraine, right? How it's set up. Poland wants to come in and divide up Western Ukraine. It looks like the Russians are protecting Eastern Ukraine. But if you look at the maps, you look at the videos, something just isn't making sense. It looks like the Russians are protecting Eastern Ukraine and how it's set up. And then NATO and Poland wants to divide up Western Ukraine. So Ukraine, in my opinion, feels like it's being used, but that's only my opinion. I look at maps, I read all the time. It's not making any sense to me, right? What we're being told makes no sense from all sides, but that's just my thought. But I'm going to close out this morning. Right, love you all so much. Thank you for following. Links will be in the description box. Right, I am definitely no expert. Right, definitely no expert. Right, I'm just a guy who reads the articles. I look at maps. I show you videos. Right, I do my own reading. Right, I'm just trying to keep everybody updated. Things are getting worse. They're not getting better. Right, food shortages are on the rise. So is inflation. The whole world is affected by this, and it will continue to be affected by this. World War III is going to eventually kick off at some point. By fall, things will be much worse, like I keep saying, and I'm already starting to see that pattern, right? I look at patterns and I just tell you what I think by patterns, right? It's going to get worse by fall, right? Will World War III be in full swing by the fall? That I do not know, but I do know that our situation far as inflation, food, all that stuff will be worse by fall. They're going to be much higher than it is now. Look at what you're paying at the pump, especially here in America, or where you live in America. We're almost $5 a gallon here in Oregon. Right? So that's the thing. It's going to continue to get worse. You must be prepared, right? Be prepared, both physically and spiritually, right? Get the things you need to stock up for your family. And at the same time, you seek your Father in heaven and be spiritually prepared for what's coming. Because what's coming is coming, and there's no stopping it, right? So be prepared. Thank you all again. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Lord, make his face shine upon you, be merciful to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you, give you peace. In the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, both now and forever. Sages. Amen. We depart in peace. Name the Lord, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Peace with you all. Peace. Shalom, shalom. May the Lord forgive those who love us and those who hate us. Seek him. Love you all so much. I love these updates. Right? I'm no expert. I'm just a man with the Bible, right? That's all I am. A man with a Bible. The man with a mission to keep you all informed to the best of my ability. Right? You don't have to be an expert to keep people informed. You just have to have the heavenly wisdom. I can look at maps, these articles, and I can tell you it's coming. The question is, are you prepared? One way or another, are you prepared? Right? That's all I have. Love you all so much. I'm out.